Did you know that we Canadians are now one of the world's largest extractors of climate pollution per capita? That we're planning one of the world's biggest increases through 2030? And did you know our relentlessly increasing extraction has become a supersized gamble that threatens both climate hope and our economic stability? Well, if you read the ultra-progressive climate alarmist publication, The National Observer, you would know that thanks to their most recent opinion piece published by Barry Saxifrage. The article, titled "Canadians Are Making a Supersized Gamble on the Climate and the Economy," basically condemns Canada and Canadians as climate criminals using the old analytic fallacy of per capita carbon emissions. The article goes on to talk about how terrible we are compared to our peers. Yet Mr. Saxifrage fails, as they all do when they try to use this per capita emissions nonsense, to point out some very practical and logical reasons why Canada does have high per capita emissions. And the first is really obvious. Canada is one cold country. And outside of Vancouver, we spend 4 to 5 months a year dealing with snow, ice, all that comes with winter temperatures. Of course, the other plainly obvious point Saxifrage misses is that Canada is a huge country, and our cities are spread far apart, especially out here in the West. So our need to transport goods, services, and people across our nation is obviously going to be more carbon intensive. Canada is not Europe. We cannot simply take transit between our cities very often. But those are the easy arguments. In half of his article, Saxifrage discusses Canada's expanding extraction industry and condemns it as a supersized risk to the climate and our economy. This is the classic dissonance the climate alarmists always display. They truly believe that if somehow Canada leads by example or whatever, that OPEC producers and other oil and gas jurisdictions will somehow not pick up the slack and produce more to meet worldwide demand, supplanting our sources of ethical oil and gas and replacing it with conflict or Sharia oil and gas. What's interesting is that people like Saxifrage don't actually believe that worldwide demand for oil, gas, and coal is going to continue to rise, despite all the energy associations saying otherwise. Saxifrage claims that, quote, "A series of recent reports flash warnings about a perfect storm of clean technology and climate action that threatens to deliver a swift and sizable beating to the markets for oil and coal," unquote. But he doesn't even name these so-called reports. It still amazes me that people push the idea that coal, oil, and natural gas can be replaced by wind and solar when we have the prime example of Ontario, who have taken that approach and seen electricity prices soar. And we know that baseload power cannot yet be provided by wind or solar generators. Look, the National Observer is an activist publication, rarely operating in a world of rationality or reality when it comes to climate change and energy production. If they were actually serious about reducing carbon-intensive energy production and the extraction process as they claim to be, and were willing to be realistic about solar and wind technology and its limitations and the need to keep electricity prices reasonable, then they should start espousing the virtues of hydroelectric projects and nuclear power. But of course, that would mean turning their back on their activist class of donors, who currently oppose the building of hydroelectric projects like Site C here in BC, or the Lower Churchill project in Labrador. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. Talking about the dynamics of energy and electricity production is something we do all the time here on The Rebel, so never miss a video. Click subscribe on our YouTube channel.